What is up, YouTube? This is Nanashi with a brand new video, and today I'm here to talk about the brand new ban list we were just given. And boy, what a ban list it is. A lot of old cards came back, a lot of new cards got hit, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm okay with about 80% of them. So without wasting too much more time, let's get started. The first one to get the ban hammer was Blackwing Gofu the Vague Shadow. Honestly, I think this card was fine at 1. It was a little too easy to abuse at 3, and obviously it would have still been a 2, but 1 seemed perfectly fair to me, so I question it, but I understand. Same thing with Dandelion, honestly. With the new Plant Link coming out, I understand why they banned this card. I've heard rumors about some kind of plant OTK, but I have no information on that. Now, Double Iris Magician, I am actually happy to see banned. It made it difficult to even go up against that deck. Now, Level Eater, I can understand them banning that. I was kind of waiting for that one. I'm gonna feel bad for the Synchron players, but it made sense. Max C getting banned? Well, I can't say I saw this one coming either, but it's expected and it's understandable. That card's really only good at 3 or 0 anyways. Having it at 1 was just kind of awkward to me. And Performapal Skulkerbat Joker, same thing as Double Iris Magician. Sure, you had to use your normal summon to get that search off, but it was still an additional card you didn't really have to pay anything for. So I understand that. Now to the cards that went to 1, we have Apocalyport Towers. To be honest, I understand. They just released a new Kleeport link. It's to be expected that they would have put something out there to make it matter. Grinder Golem? Thank you. Thank you, Konami, for hitting Grinder Golem. I hate that stupid token production loop. Thank you. Perform Page Damage Juggler. I mean, it's not a terrible card, and it's not too overpowered at 1, I don't think. I don't really understand why they did it, but it's fine. I don't really have a personal problem with this card. Firewall Dragon. Who else saw this coming? Seriously, who else saw this coming? Because I saw it coming a mile away, and I'm pretty sure everybody and their mother did. Monster Reborn, though. That one's an interesting choice to take off the ban list. We had it a few years ago after it had been banned for so long, and now we're finally getting it back. While we also have Soul Charge, we have another card coming out next set, I believe, that's acting like a Monster Reborn for Link decks. And I think there's also that Sponsored Reborn spell card. We have a lot of cards that basically do the same thing as Monster Reborn, so I guess they're trying to bring up the emphasis on the use of 1-for-1s? Whatever the case, I'm not complaining. Spiral Resort put to 1. I'm not gonna lie, I hate the deck, and I kinda wish they had also done something about Master Plan, but Spiral Resort was a step in the right direction that the deck needed to get hit by. I'm fine with this. Solemn Judgment, though. That one has my attention. We haven't seen Solemn Judgment in a very long time as far as legal play. I remember this card from way back when the game first started. But in today's game, I can safely say that this card is nowhere near as much of a threat as it used to be. Sure, it can negate an inherent summon or a spell trap in general, but so can Solemn Warning to an extent. Solemn Strike takes care of monster effects, which makes it infinitely more valuable compared to something like Judgment, so I'm okay with seeing the card back. If I ever do get any copies, I'm probably going to put him in the side because half your points at any point in the game, unless you are literally a life gain deck, is a little steep and will probably end up getting you killed. Now, there are no cards that were put to 2, which is fine, because that's always that awkward zone to talk about. But cards that went to 3, I'm excited about this variety. Artifact Moral Talk came back to 3, so we might see a reprise of the old Hat deck, especially now that we've got the new Trap Tricks cards and some new Artifact cards. Lackluster Soldier Envoy going back to 3 kinda matters too. Now that card's at 3, a lot of decks that use a bunch of light and dark monsters, or even just generally mixed attribute decks as a whole, now have another beat stick they can use. Card Trooper. I remember this card from way back when, and back when I actually made a machine deck that revolved around his use, I was really upset that we only had 2. So now that it's back, I'm not going to be able to rebuild that old deck, but I'm still glad to see that it did come back in general. Thunder King Ryo, though. It's a really good thing I don't plan to rebuild that old Thunder Shutdown deck I used to use, because this card right here would actually end up screwing everybody over if I actually did. Brionet coming back to 3 doesn't really matter. The errata kinda makes it semi-useless, not completely, just semi. Same with Brain Control. I was excited when it came back to 2 and even 1, but after testing it out even in the side deck, it's kind of a useless card now. El SHADDOLL Fusion though? That coming back to 3 kinda matters. We probably won't see Construct again for a long time, except maybe in Link monster form, but at the same time, it does kind of matter that we got the spell back, because that shows that they're willing to release their hold on SHADDOLLs as a whole. So the deck is now more playable, but without Construct, it really doesn't have a lot of oomph anymore, does it? Future Fusion honestly doesn't matter that much either, because, well, its errata makes it take too long to matter. Mind Control, though? That one has me a little bit scared, I'm just gonna be honest. All it does is take an opponent's monster until the end phase, and it cannot declare an attack or be tributed, but the thing is, it can still be used for any other variety of special summon, except Ritual of course. It can still use its monster effects, and now that Link is a thing, stealing an opponent's Link monster and using it as its full Link material value for a higher grade Link monster has me a little frightened. I mean, sure, it's a 1-for-1, but at the same time, it's something that could be built upon. I'm a little bit frightened because of that card, if nothing else, but it's the only one I'm really terribly concerned about. Preparation of Rites coming back to 3? I'm actually fine with this. Sure, we'll probably see a huge increase in the number of decks using the Herald engine, but honestly, Ritual decks kinda need the boost. Sacrifice. This card's kinda cool too. Given that Towers came back, it makes sense that Sacrifice would come back to 3 as well. Bottomless Trap Hole going to 3. That one caught my attention. I have been playing with Bottomless at 1 in every deck I own for so long, I honestly don't know how many I'm supposed to run it at in an average deck now that we have it at unlimited status. I guess 2 is a fair number, but you guys tell me what you think. I'm actually kind of curious what you think would be a fair number in an average deck. Now, CEASEFIRE, that's an annoying card that we used to see way back when in the earlier days of burn decks, if I recall correctly. It's not anything too terribly powerful, especially now that we have something like Trickstar, which can do consistent burn, whereas this one just does burst burn, but it's something to pay attention to, I guess. Ojama Trio coming back to 3, though? I'm fine with that. Given that tokens can now be used as link material, giving your opponent tokens is kind of a bad idea in general. Unless you have the ability to block out certain zones from them special summoning things and slow down their general strategies, it's not going to do anything major. And Torrential Tribute coming back to 3, I basically feel the same way about it as Bottomless. I've been playing with it at 1 for so long, mainly because it was a replacement for that Lost Dark Hole, but at the same time, I don't know how many I should run it at. I want to say 2, but given that we have Dark Hole and maybe someday I'll get some Raigekis, is 1 okay, or would 2 make more sense? So I want to hear your opinion on both Bottomless and Torrential Tribute if you can. Tell me how many you think would be good to run in an average deck. And that is the list as a whole. I'm really glad we finally got this list, and it goes into effect on February 5th, which means we only have a couple of days to prepare and buy out the stores of all their individual copies of the cards. So I'm looking forward to beefing up my decks with all these new additions, and once this happens, of course, I'll finally be releasing new deck profiles. Sorry I haven't been making any, by the way. A combination of waiting for Extreme Force to finally drop into TCG and my computer dying and losing all my projects kinda put a delay on a lot of the stuff I was planning to upload. But I will be putting out videos as soon as I can, especially once these new lists go into effect. So look forward to seeing new content from me in the near future. But in the meantime, this has been Nanashi, signing out.
What's the next stage? What's the next stage?